What's going on, guys? Reaper here, and welcome to Reaper Declassified. We are now on episode 10 of the Project 69 GTO War Angel, and in this episode, we'll be going over the beginning process of building this custom all-steel center console. Alright guys, first things first, apologies for not getting this video out on our regular scheduled Wednesdays. I have somehow managed to catch me a lower respiratory infection that I've been trying to fight off for the past handful of days. So you may get some coughing, wheezing, or sniffles in this video that I've managed to try and go through and completely remove in post. I really should probably still just be in bed. Okay, so the idea with the center console originally came to life with my 70 Chevelle, as the plan and design for it has a similar style and design to the War Angel, so it's kind of got a cockpit, aircraft interior look to it as well. However, I decided to go a completely different route with the 70 Chevelle and do something a little bit more military style and kind of keep the War Angel center console slightly in its roots, copying the original console, but adding some new elements like this 50 cal ammo can, for example. Now, making the center console was relatively easy, and patterning was relatively easy. I just took the original center console that came out of this car, made my patterns, and then just started design and welding and building from there.
And I'm copying basically the original design of the center console that came out of the 69 GTOs. That one came with the car, still in pretty good shape for the most part. I can fix most of it and probably resell it, but I'm going to keep it as a spare. Instead of going with standard copy of the console itself, I've got something else in store for this project. Like I said, I'm following basically the original pattern, but for the actual center console, I'm going to go with the 50 cal ammo can. It kind of adds to that War Angel post-apocalyptic military style vehicle that I'm looking to build. So I've got this piece cut out, and I've got the two sidewalls and the front angle piece here all cut out. Got the main body of it all tacked up. I've got the box tacked to the actual frame of the center console. 10 different places on each side.
But the hard part basically came with the ammo can and where it really needed to be mounted.
Handle on the ammunition box here, because obviously this is going to be too big to reach in there and pop open with that shifter there. So I'm probably going to wind up cutting this down and making just a straight little handle, or maybe even a little handle hooked into flat bar there.
And there's still some trial and error going on for the opening clasp. So looking in this area, when it closes, you have your front clasp. This is the part that hinges down slightly, hooks in, and you press down and it seals the container.
What I wound up doing actually is cutting that off, which I pretty much figured I was going to have to anyway. I planned on that, really. So, was that, now it's that. So this makes it a little harder to open and close, because it doesn't have the reach it used to. And that's fine. See, I'm accounting right now for the space that this would take up with the brackets. Yeah. So basically, if I go ahead and weld that one piece in here, I'm actually thinking about moving it forward some instead of way back here where it should be on the original. Just welding it straight across. That gives me a little more room, and possibly rigging something up on it for a better handle, such as those, or maybe just a little finger deal there, who knows.
I've got to go ahead and try to figure out something a little different with this. I didn't think about it at the time, and it may be something I go ahead and change out a little later anyway, is getting one of the old World War II 50 cal ammo cans, as they hinge from the side and lock and clasp that way, as opposed to the newer ones from roughly 50s, 60s onward. They open like this, which wouldn't be bad, but to be able to close and lock this thing properly without your hands or knuckles getting in the way of all of that, It's just a lot safer. But we'll see. Who knows? I may come up with a completely different idea. Having been away from the center console for a while has already given me other ideas on things I could do, or to help eliminate and alleviate completely rebuilding, or just, you know, hacking this whole ammo can completely out of it. Now, the main thing I wanted to try and follow and keep in this was keeping all the original mounting points in the same location. So you've got one up here that mounts to the floor. It actually screws and attaches to an area up here in the original center console, which won't be a problem. You know, I can drill a hole and weld in a little plug there that'll allow that to still mount. The secondary mounting point is back here, which may be a little bit more difficult, but there's something I can figure out with that. And of course, my main thing was I wanted to be able to keep the original shifting bracket and shift lifter that originally came out of this. So I basically started building this whole section and copying the original center console plate.
So anyway, this is all tacked up. I rounded that off like the original. Right now I'm going to wind up making the piece that kind of goes here to tie that top part in here for the shifter plate. So I'm going to be making this and the sidewalls. I've also got this little piece welded together here, and this piece actually goes right in here. Now, I don't know if you can see my little mark there or not, but what I did when I made that template, I actually accounted for these on the side. So the step down would have actually been this piece right here, which is also this piece. So I did that on purpose, and my plan for that is to cut into this on both of them and fold this down in here a little bit, because you'll see that there's a spacing between them. I've got this cut and bent. I've also taken my flanging tool and put a little lip in it. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this welded up on the inside here. Alright guys, so I got the rear plate for the console done and ready to weld on. I'll have to trim on one side slightly, but that's not a big deal. Get it all mated into the rest of it. Still have not quite figured out exactly how I'm going to deal with this up front. The actual shifter. Let's see here. I cut out the shift plate, and I'm thinking I'm just going to weld that in there instead of rigging up the original, which came out of that dash, or from that console, sorry. So I haven't quite decided how I'm going to do that. I made this little edging here that will go down inside of here to help with the gap and the spacing for that, but I don't know if that's the route I'm going to take yet. I may wind up just leaving most of that open until I'm entirely sure what shifter I want to use. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get that all tacked up.
And that's not all. There's going to be a lot more mounted to this. It's not going to just be your bare bones, basic, minimum center console like you pull out of an original. There's going to be a lot more to this. It's actually going to be a two-piece center console. So you're going to have the main piece here, a secondary piece that comes up and basically attaches to the original dash. Unfortunately, this center console marks the last time that I actually worked on the War Angel to any extent at all, other than to move it or clean it out a little bit. So no welding, no fabrication on the main body or even, you know, interior parts or anything like that. And the reason for that is... Yep. I cut my hand, which you can see it's long healed now. But see, here's the thing. It really, really pissed me off when it happened. I mean, I was way upset to the point that a lot of that footage can't really be used, or it essentially I have to completely bleep it all out. I was cussing a lot due to cutting my hand open and was just about done with finishing a few things on this. Ultimately, just as a voiceover to that, stupidly enough, I wound up getting on my Harley going all the way to town because I was out of cigars, but I was so upset that I felt like I really needed a cigar, so I went and got a cigar, wrapped my hand, and get back smoking. Of course, it's getting a little worse. It's starting to bleed a little more. Shouldn't have went to town. Now, when I say town, I don't mean I drove all the way into town. We have a local area here that's about 10 minutes away, barely 10 miles away. And it's just a gas station and a little store and stuff like that. But I also went to get some more bandages, disinfectant, stuff like that, until I could get a hold of my friend to come out here and, well, give me a ride into actual town, so I could, of course, go get some stitches and... tetanus shot this week because I'm way overdue anyway. So I'm not even sure what the hell I cut my hand on, but around with this thing, next thing I know, it's just straight jab into the side. I don't see any blood on anything on there, so I have no idea what the fuck I cut my hand on. I just know it was steel. Since I'm probably what you would call a very persistent son of a squirrel, I'm still gonna go ahead and work on this mother. Anyway, guys, Fat Tony is officially here, and now it's time to go to the butcher, hospital. Go figure this out, so. What?
What?
Hospital. Yay.
Hi.
How's it going?
It's tincture of benzoid. It smells bad.
That feels just like super glue.
Probably is kind of a derivative of it. And you pay $800 for a tube of this.
How much?
Well, it's probably $800.
Good God. Yeah, going to the hospital isn't cheap.
No.
This sucks. Tony, you're gonna hold my hand. You're gonna hold my hand when I get the shot. You know what really sucks? That's my good hand. So when I'm home alone by myself and I'm bored, I can't. Squirrel! No. That sucks. Liquid stitches, basically. So we're all set. Can't get it wet for 24 hours. Other than that, whatever. you know, just as a total result, I just lost kind of all interest in working on this thing. I thought I would muster up, and by the time I did finally regain the interest in coming back and working on the War Angel, I didn't have a welder that worked. So it's kind of been sitting backlogged on the back burner for a lot longer than I was hoping for. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode. This is essentially the last episode in Season 1, but Part 1 of building this center console. So don't worry, we will be coming back with Season 2 of the Project 69 GTO War Angel here in the very near future. And when we come back, there's definitely going to be a lot more going on in Season 2. So be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and ring that notification bell to stay up to date, especially for the upcoming season. But until then, guys, remember, stay frosty, ride or die, Reaper out.